Hello everyone. I was really bored and I didn't really feel like playing anything but flight sim, so I thought I might as well stream what I'm playing. So today the plan is for me to learn how to fly the P-47. This is specifically the D variant. It's got the bubble canopy, so it provides us excellent visibility, which makes it another good aircraft in our saga of learning to have good situational awareness. Now, oh, excuse me, I've got a little bit of a congestion today. I went outside and touched brass, so my allergies are acting up. But the P-47 is special because it is a US World War II pretty much fighter bomber. It's intended to be a ground attack aircraft, so it mounts a whopping 850 cal machine guns, and you can see here it's carrying like 2,000 rounds for all of them, or total. If you take additional, you're carrying 3,400 rounds. So you have quite a lot of ammo to work with in this aircraft. And that is done so it can help strafe ground targets and such. It can also carry quite a significant arsenal of ground attack munitions. So you can, as an example, bring two 1,000-pound bombs, a 500-pound bomb, and then 6 rockets. And that's what we've got mounted here. And the rocket launchers in this are pretty neat because you can jettison them after use, which lets you have a clean aircraft configuration when you're flying after the mission or after you've employed your weapons. And then what else makes it special is that it has a R2800 double wasp engine, which is a big, huge radial engine. This aircraft, just seeing it in this hangar doesn't really do it justice. This thing is quite massive. You can fit an entire P-51D, the entire Mustang fighter, inside of this thing. It's quite crazy. So we're gonna have to start off with technical specs. So let me bring up the technical specs because I have not done any of this pre-planned. I kind of just dropped right in. So let me bring up the tech specs for you. So here we are. This is the form of IL-2 Sturmovik. This is where all of the flight and technical specs are kept. They are copied in the game, but I prefer to use this typically. So the P-47 is a Operation Bodenplatte aircraft. So we're going to go down here, find it. We're going to see that it has a, let's see, takeoff stall speed is about 139 to, that's not quite right. I need to get that in miles per hour because our dials on this aircraft are all going to be in miles per hour. So that's going to be like 86 to 106 miles an hour. Dive speed limit is 500 miles per hour. Then we need next is we want the engine limitations. So let's see where they are. So we've got different, oh, these are max power. Okay, engine modes, here we go. Cruise, which is unlimited time. That is, how many RPM? That is 2550. 2550. And 42 inches. of pressure. So it's manifold pressure. If you have questions on that, just let me know and I will mention more on that in a bit. Combat power, we have 15 minutes of, that's 2,700 RPM, 52 inches. And then war emergency power, or WEP, is 5 minutes. And that is, again, 2,700 RPM and 62 or 64 inches of mercury. Now we have a turbocharger on this. So most aircraft in World War II had a supercharger, which runs off of engine RPM. So it takes power from the engine to compress air and shove it into the engine. Oh, I didn't actually transition this for you guys. Whoops. But so they take power from the engine, use it to compress air, shove that into the engine, and that gets you more horsepower. However, there is a little bit more of an efficient way to do it, and that is a turbocharger, which uses the exhaust from the engine to spin a turbine, which compresses the air that gets put into the engine. And that system is a lot more complicated because you need an intercooler, and you have a whole bunch of ducting for exhaust gases and whatnot. But it makes it a little bit more fuel efficient and gets you a little bit more power. So Turbo Max RPM is 20,000. And then it can go up to 22,000 for 15 minutes. I have no clue if that's going to matter. I hope it doesn't, because I don't know anything about turbocharger controls. I might have to go in and find keys for that. We'll find out. All right, so that should be the gist of what we need. Next, we're going to go to our aircraft comparison table. So this has, I've got a couple aircraft selected. I didn't do anything with this before this, but these are the aircraft that most of these are aircraft I was looking at, trying to decide what to fly next. So I had them in the tables to look at. So we see here the P-47. We can compare this to some of the other aircraft. So like an early Focke-Wulf 190, it's a little faster at low altitudes, or at 3,000 meters of altitude, and a little slower at higher and lower altitudes than, which is probably because the Focke-Wulf has a little bit more performance gap with its gearing and engine configuration than us. We are just as fast as a BF-109 until we get to higher altitudes, so this thing likes to fly a little higher if you're trying to dogfight, but it's not really built to dogfight. Climb rate is actually pretty awful at only 12.1 meters per second compared to like the 18 of the P-51. And then our turn speed, our optimal turn speed is actually pretty high. I'm gonna put down 330. Actually, I need to convert that. So you're going to take this and we're going to convert speed 330 to 205 miles per hour, because our gauges are all in miles per hour, so we need everything in that. And that should be just about everything we need to get off the ground. So we'll go back to IL-2, and we're just going to start a ground mission. We will take off the ground attack modification, because we don't want to try to take off the first time with that. We probably will do a couple takeoffs and landings just to make sure we got things down on this aircraft. We'll pop right in.
Rushman, cleared for takeoff.
Now you'll see that we have these flaps, little flappy things at the engine towards the front. That's the engine outlet cowl flaps. Those are only to be used while on the ground, so we'll close those. We'll check our engine prop RPM and our mixture to auto rich, so we have some more power for takeoff. Then we will, they've got a nice set of chart stuff for us here. I don't know why we need that oxygen chart right there, but I guess the pilots needed it. We have all sorts of other information thrown around on this aircraft. Neat. Alright, so we're going to apply the brakes, throttle up. Actually, let me check the oil radiator, that is fine, and adjust my pitch trim. There we go. Aircraft's going to get pulled to the left, so we're going to use some right pedal to counter that. Get the tail off the ground. And I don't really... I gotta find the speedometer real quick. Yeah, we tried to rotate too early. I'm really used to the P-51 that it goes really quite fast. Okay, so the speedometer is right there. I missed that. Let's take landing gear. Uh-oh. Let me check something real quick, because I think I've got control issue, because I fired up a utility I didn't intend to, but I can fix this pretty quick. My joystick is bound with a whole bunch of modifiers, so I've got one thing that is actually just set to be Alt, and I need to load a profile to my joystick every time before I play a game, so that will work. Not auto level. Okay, there we go. That worked. I fired up my joystick's programming thing on accident while launching the game, so that just loaded the default profile. Alright, now let's get our aircraft set for continuous mode. Which one of these is what? We need to be at 2500 RPM. Okay, so our RPM indicator is unique in that we've got two hands on it, one for thousands and the other for hundreds of RPM. So that's good to know about. Let's just verify our aircraft's landing gear is up. Yep, everything looks fine. Then we will just turn around and come back for a landing to make sure we understand how the heck this thing works for landings. Slow down because we want to be probably somewhere around 130 miles an hour for landing, at least for the glide slope and approach. Nose down a bit too much. Let's drop our flaps, and our flaps in this have continuous movement, unlike the Mustang, which deploys by tens of degrees more or less. So we've got 40 degrees of flaps. get our aircraft lined up with the runway, and let me trim out for landing. So our landing gear is down. Turbine overspeed, what is that about? Do we have an RPM gauge for the turbo? No clue. We'll throttle back a little bit more. Aim for the non-existent runway. Apply a little bit more power to clear these trees. Alright, throttle back a little more. And we'll come in for a nice landing. I'm a bad pilot, I keep looking at my phone. Alright. Throttle back. Flare. Oh. We came down. Did we? Oh, we didn't put our landing gear down. Of course. Oops. So distracted by everything else. We'll start again. I'm going to check some key mappings really quick. Plane engine controls. We want to find if there is a turbocharger RPM control. Let's see, turbocharger, that's just control. I don't see one. Okay, so that might be something we do want to have. So let's make this a modified one. There we go. Nope, that's not quite right. Uh-oh. It does not want to bind. I gotta be fast on this, don't I? Come on, game. Yes, finally. It took way more tries than it should have.
Roughman, cleared for takeoff.
Roughman, leader, taking off. Out.
Jeez. I have to manually control the supercharger. Oh man, that's gonna be a bit of a pain. I wonder if I could... Let's try something different for that. So, turbo supercharger control, let's do left alt and then scroll. Nope, not gonna let me do that. Damn. Alright, we're gonna try to leave that as is and hope we don't have to use that much. Alright, let's get our outlet cowl shutters closed. Actually, let's try to identify where the heck that supercharger is. Supercharger RPM. So we're going to need to know where that is. So we've got our engine RPM, but I don't see any other RPM indicators. Which is weird if it's gonna give me issues, but that light might just not be important. So we're just gonna send it. Alright, we can get our tail up. And we gotta reach our takeoff speed, like 130. We'll rotate. Hi, Loki Chevy, how are you? Get our pitch trimmed just up a little bit. Probably should have used a bit more engine power on that takeoff. We can add some more now. My day has been fairly good, not doing much. Got bored, so I started streaming IL-2, learning the P-47. Alright, we're gonna just come pretty much right back around to that airfield. Should be straight behind us. Let's see, there it is, yep. We're going to need a bit more engine power so we don't fall out of the sky. This thing is definitely a bit of a shock coming from the P-51. It's a lot heavier, but it does have pretty decent engine power. What's my line of work? Well, I work at a certain logistic company. Let's drop our flaps. Let's get our throttle back, slow down a bit, and we will get our landing gear down this time. Not forget it. Alright, landing gear is down. We don't have a landing gear indicator in this aircraft, do we? I don't think so. It's weird that you get all sorts of nice little bells and whistles in like a P-51, but in this you don't. Oh, I need to using less throttle, get a little bit more pitch trim. Oh, we are coming in a bit too short. We are going to hit the ground a little hard. but actually not as bad as I thought we were going to. So landings in this is going to be quite a difference, but they're not really that hard. They're not hard compared to the P-51. They're just a kind of strange, it seems. Let's go for one more touch and go before we try to start doing any kind of air combat. Let's get our flaps retracted. Or actually, I should equip this thing with bombs and then try to take off, because if we're going to do ground attack, we're going to need to know how to handle this thing on takeoff with munition loads. So full throttle. Get the tail up. A little bit of forward pressure. We're not quite fast enough. Now it's coming up. Oh, this might go really, really poorly. I didn't check what we had in front of us. Let's drop a little bit of flaps, help us get off the ground really quick. Yep, just barely made it. Landing gear up. We'll climb and get a little ways away from the airfield, and then come back around. Oh, we do have a landing gear warning light. It's just pretty much obscured by this gun sight with our head position. Alright, and we'll come back around. Just one more landing before we switch to heavier payloads. Let's drop our flaps right now. Once our flaps are all the way down, we'll drop our gear. Landing gear down. Oop. Not watching where I am. Need a little bit more throttle. Just our pitch trim. Actually, we don't have any more pitch trim to give. Set to landing at 120 miles per hour. All right. Slowly decrease the throttle just a little bit. Oh, we got a flare. Drop the throttle to idle. And good. All right, we'll switch our loadout, do a couple quick takeoffs with full bomb loads just to make sure we can. Oh, and we get the loading screen with the P-47. All right, so we're gonna adjust our setup. Let's take the maximum weight we can. So we are gonna take the two 1,000-pound bombs, the 500-pound bomb, and then 6 rockets, as well as additional ammo for our 50 cals. So we are going to be heavy as heck, although we don't need this much fuel. Let me double check something in the aircraft specs. Okay, that is here, here. Let's see, anything about fuel? Anything about fuel? Aircraft should be noted that the aircraft requires a long takeoff run, about 650 meters at a standard load, and 1,500 meters at maximum takeoff weight. It doesn't say anything. I was wondering if this has a fuselage tank behind the pilot. I don't see anything about that. We might have a lot of trouble taking off from the field that we picked because it is a kind of short runway. We were already having a little bit of trouble.
Cleared for takeoff.
Ruffman, leader, taking off.
So I would not be entirely surprised if we end up with some crashes here. Let's give ourselves 20 degrees of flaps. Wonder if maybe I'm supposed to be using the Supercharger and I'm just dumb. Alright, let's throttle up. Man, you can hear the screaming of that turbocharger. Oh, this thing definitely has a lot more power now. Yeah, I was just forgetting to use the turbocharger, huh? Alright, takeoff speed, so let's rotate. There we go. This thing is very slow to lift off. Get our landing gear up. And flaps up. Reduce our engine RPM down to continuous mode.
Ruffman, proceed with your mission.
Be about, what, 80%? Yeah, we have to use quite a lot of pitch trimmer to keep the nose up with this loadout. Alright, let's take a look at our map and we can see that behind us there is, looks like some enemy trucks, so let's turn around and take an attack at them. Okay, so we're getting turbine overspeed. I think that is a turbocharger alarm. Except I don't know at all what I'm doing with that turbocharger. We don't have an RPM gauge for it. Or if we do, I'm just blind as a bat. Oh, it stopped blinking. Let's take this up a little bit. There's our manifold pressure. We can have up to 42, so it looks like we're at that. And our turbocharger is going to impact our manifold pressure. All right, let's try to find this convoy that's in front of us somewhere. Should be off to our front-ish. Oh, there they are. We'll get ready and try for a rocket attack on them. What the heck just hit me? Oh god. Jettison stores, drop the bombs. Yep, bombs are away. Ooh, nope. Nose up. Yep, flak bursts. I wonder if I did just get tagged by flak. Alright, let's finish this mission out. We'll move on to actual missions now. Firing up my campaign generator, we're going to make a new campaign. So we're going to go new campaign. I'm going to pick the United States Army Air Force. It's going to be Mika P-47. Complete data entry. Oh, single player mode. Now complete data entry. Player name is Mika. Step, all maps. Campaign start date as early as possible. Oh wait, previous step. Let's pick attack. Rank, we're gonna just go with max so that we get to be in charge of all the brain dead AI. $22 and $28. What's the the D22 is the Razorback variant, right? So we can pick any of these. I only have the D28. This is a veteran group, this is a veteran group, this is a competent, competent, competent. So we're not that competent, so we're just gonna go with the competent group. And create campaign. Let's look at our equipment. So we've got basically half and half. That's good. Let's do some campaign configuration. Advanced configuration, campaign preferences. We're going to set missions credited to 5 because we want to kind of do an accelerated campaign. We can see the front lines move a bit better with this. Then let's see, mission AI or campaign preferences, save AI from itself. This is true. Otherwise, the AI can get themselves killed in stupid ways. Finished. All right, we'll generate a mission. Attack the airfield. Okay, that's a pretty straightforward one. Let's go to the map. Okay, so there's going to be a bit of a longer mission because we're going to have to ingress and fly quite a ways. Next waypoints. So we are flying pretty much low down the entire time. Next, pilots. Let's add in a couple of other people. We're all carrying 2 1,000-pound bombs. Okay, that we're gonna be heavy right out to the gate here. And we will accept the mission. I do not own my assigned plane. That's right. You get a 22. I get a 28. 3 TG. Accept mission. I forgot the mission details. Oh well. Hopefully we don't have too much wind. So it's slowly generating the mission. I'll take it a couple minutes here. All right. Then we can switch back to IL-2. Get ready to die horribly in this mission. Exit, we'll go to missions. Pat Wilson's campaign generator. And Mika P-47, we've got this raid. We'll start. I'll get some background music going. Oh god, where did that window just go? I was dragging a window right when it alt-tabbed me into the game. There we go. 47D setup, so we're at 61% fuel. I think that should be fine. I've got my convergence set to 300 meters because we want it a little bit longer for ground attack. I'm going to get rid of the Gyro Gun Sight because otherwise the standard gun sight gives me a little indicator that's very useful. Side slip indicator. Bombs, 5-second timer. That's enough time for us to get away and also look back at our bombing status if we hit anything. Alright, so we're gonna close the shutters.
Cleveland, taking off. Out.
Let's get the Supercharger up to 100%. Check our prop RPM. Let's get that to full because we want to take off. Let's get our flaps down to 20 degrees. Let's get our pitch trimmer up to 20%. Negative 20 is 20 degrees pitched up for whatever reason. Let me re-zero my head tracking. Engine mixture, auto rich. The brakes, throttle up. Use some right rudder to keep us straight on the runway. Try to get the nose down, or the tail up, rather. Oh, we are having a bit of a rough takeoff. I'm not really managing everything right. Holy shit, that guy almost hit us. Oh, I also didn't throttle up all the way. I keep forgetting that recently.
Cleveland 2, airborne.
Alright, takeoff speed achieved. Let's
Cleveland
rotate
airborne.
and pull up. Get that landing gear up.
Cleveland 4, airborne. This is 1, Cleveland.
Let's give that turbocharger a break, I think.
Proceed with your mission.
Flaps up. We want to... Hi, Monty, how are you? Thanks for coming. I am flying airplanes. This is a heavy airplane too, and I don't actually know how to fly it yet, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, let me get my engine RPM down so our engine is in continuous mode. There we go. We don't have any turbine warnings. Good. How is it different from flying others? That is what today's stream is about. So this one is a lot heavier, for starters, than what I was flying previously. So previously I was flying the P-51 Mustang, which is a US World War II fighter. It's pretty lightweight, maneuvers pretty well. This is a ground attack aircraft, so it's a lot heavier and a lot bigger. And we are currently carrying, let me get auto level on so I can show this. We're currently carrying 2 1,000-pound bombs, but this, the P-51, all I have to really manage on the engine is throttle, yeah, pretty much just throttle and RPM, propeller RPM. On this, I have to manage throttle, propeller RPM. I have to manage my radiators, which I didn't check. Okay, those are open. They're probably open a bit too much. I don't actually know where my oil radiator temp is. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so carb air pressure, or air, looks good. Cylinder head temperature looks good. Where's my oil pressure, or oil temperature light? I don't... Green arc, military power. Yellow arc, war emergency. Green. What is that gauge? I think I know what that gauge is. I think that is our turbocharger, maybe. Because our manifold pressure indicator is down here. There is a lot on these aircraft to do, yeah. Some of them are actually pretty simple, like the P-51 is honestly pretty simple compared to this because most of it's done automatically. This, I just have a bit more manual stuff to do. But on some of the more complicated aircraft, because there are other aircraft where I have just as much that I have to actually consider, but I don't really have to consider it quite as much on those because I've flown them enough that I know, hey, if I put my radiators at like this percentage open, it should be fine for the majority of use cases. And then I just glance at the gauge every once in a while. I also have some gauges on stream. Let me actually get my gauge window on my alternate screen up so I can see it. So we've got a couple gauges on stream that viewers can see. Those update and are accurate to what is in the game. The most important ones are Starting from left to right for the top row, there is airspeed. Then next to that, there's altitude. Then there is my compass heading. That compass heading isn't really all that important because I've got one as a little indicator in the HUD that I use. Then there is the pitch and roll indicator on the far right. Then for the second row, there's a turn and side slip indicator. That one is actually really important, but it's a little hard to explain without doing a demo. But the little ball on that needs to be pretty much in the center in between those two lines at all times. Otherwise, bad things can happen. Then there is a climb indicator and then engine RPM indicator, which the engine RPM one doesn't really matter. So the most important ones to viewers to kind of understand what's going on is really the pitch and roll, although most of the time you're going to be able to tell just by visually looking what my pitch and roll is. But then airspeed and the side slip indicator are important. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, because there is a lot to try to know what to explain. And I gotta, let's see, I want to be at 600 meters, which is going to be about 1,500 feet. We're at about 1,200, looks like. So let's climb a little bit more. I also am neglecting my situational awareness to an extent. We are quite a ways away from this front line, but I need to watch out for other things. Hi, UFO. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for dropping by. We are going to be probably flying for a little bit here before we actually get into any action. Although we're getting a little bit of turbulence. So you can tell if I'm in turbulence if that, that little ball indicator in the bottom left, if that is dancing back and forth. Thanks for lurking. Okay, need to adjust my pitch trimmer down just a little bit. Oh, this thing has a big honkin' engine, so that has a little bit of a torque impact on this aircraft, so it rolls you to the opposite direction of where the engine's spinning. And let's see, I don't see any enemies. I had kind of just gotten used to flying at higher altitudes in the past missions I was doing in the P-51 Mustang, because that aircraft performs very well at high altitudes. This one performs well at high altitudes as well, but we're doing a ground attack mission, so we're told to fly low. But I had just gotten used to flying above the clouds like all the time. Enemies? Yeah, there are hostile aircraft in this. This isn't just a fun play for, you know, play and relax. This is a combat flight sim. So we are on a mission to raid an enemy airbase. So we brought 2 1,000-pound bombs to hit the airfield with. Alright, I gotta make a right turn, and I gotta hope that these bozos will be smart enough to turn with me. Hey, they are. Oh, it's making you sleepy? Just, yeah, it only makes you sleepy when things are going well. If things aren't going well, it's me going, ah! How do I get this guy off my tail? And having heart attacks when I see my allies on my tail like they're supposed to be. But we also, for armament on this aircraft, we've got 8 50 cal machine guns. You can see there are 4 in each wing. So there's the other 4. And we carry, right now we're carrying like 3,200 rounds for those guns. So we've got quite a lot of firepower in this aircraft, which is why it is so darn heavy. So if somebody comes up and decides they want to attack us, we're going to have a bad day. And actually, I kind of noticed that this mission we generated, normally if you're doing a ground attack mission or anything like that, it normally spawns a escorting group with you. So we'd be escorted ideally by a flight of P-51 Mustangs, so that way they can cover us while we're slow and not able to maneuver. But just this time, for some reason, it didn't. Which is odd. Okay, now we are actually approaching the front line. We can cross over. Normally I'd do some time acceleration for this, but I do want to have a little bit of caution if with my settings and everything, so that I have so I can learn like what settings I can leave things at and have the aircraft run continuously. We got something burning over there. There's actually a front line, and the campaign generator that I'm using, it actually spawns in all sorts of things on the ground. So like you can, if you find train tracks, you can usually find trains running on those. And you can actually destroy the trains if you so desire. Actually, I think I see a train over there. At that tree line. It's really hard to see. Let's take a quick look. Oh, I got a little bit of a FPS drop there. Jeez. Yeah, well, this is a war. We gotta do what we can to stop the enemy. Actually, I am just blind. That's not a train. That's just a bunch of shadows. It conveniently looked like a train, though. It almost got me. Alright, let's get back onto our target vector. And I really need to actually climb a bit more. Still questioning what this dial is, because it's like degrees Celsius and then it's different ones for different power levels, so maybe it is just a different engine mode, engine temperature allowance. Because we have engine modes that you can use. So in this aircraft we have cruise, which is what I'm in now. You can just be in that engine mode forever until your fuel runs out. Engine runs no problem. Then you have, I thought I just heard something. Let me take a look. No, I don't see it. Oh, we've got a flight of something way off there. It's like 1 pixel, you're not going to see it. But from that direction, it's probably an allied unit. I'm going to come right a bit more. So we have our intended vector for attack. But as I was saying with the engine modes, we've got cruise, which we can do forever, combat, which you can do for 15 minutes, and then emergency, which is 5 minutes. Let's try to identify where this enemy airfield is, because we should be coming up on it pretty shortly. Actually, it should be further out over here. Let's try to gain a little more altitude, because we should be a little bit higher before we try to make our dive bombing attacks. I'm going to trade some speed for altitude here. Let's see. I don't see anything. Where is that airfield? Got a big town out there. Okay, so it's on the other side of that town from us. Get our pitch trimmed up so that our aircraft has a little bit of a nose up tendency. Roll over, bank to the left.
And continue with the mission. Out.
I don't see that airfield yet. Definitely should be out there. Oh, no, I am looking in the wrong direction. It's over here. Yep, there it is. I can see the runways. Yep, so right there it's got that A-shaped runway. So where exactly is our bombing target? Let me get my controls into air-to-ground mode so I can actually drop bombs when I want to. I'm gonna try to go for
Cleveland. Control for ground.
those hangars, I think.
Out.
We gotta keep an eye out for any enemy flak. Oh, there's that flight of aircraft again. Oh, we're taking some flak fire, so let's start maneuvering a little bit. Yep, you can see all those flak guns shooting up at us. Oh wow, all these aircraft parking areas they have. Alright, we're gonna come down. Alright, reduce throttle. And we're gonna dive down.
4. Target destroyed.
And
Cleveland. 4.
bombs away. Add power. Turn to the left. Hey, we hit some things. We took out both those hangars. Nice.
Rejoin formation. Continue with the mission. Out.
And we're gonna come around for some strafing runs. You're pulling a little bit hard. We're about to stall. Let's lessen on our stick pull. We've got an aircraft on the ground here. I didn't have that lined up very well, so we'll apply more power, climb out of this, come back around for another strafing run. Actually, we're going to want to stay a little low with all that flak fire from the city. Got a truck out there. Alright, let's turn. Let's try to not turn too tight so we can save some energy. This energy is kind of key in aircraft. Alright, line up for another strafing run. I can't aim. We got an artillery or anti-air gun. Hey, we got that one. Nice. Let's keep situational awareness, try to see if there's any enemies flying around. And I don't think we've got our cheat radar working. It works in some mission, or it's just on in some missions and others it isn't for whatever reason. Come around for another attack. Got what looks like a truck down here. climb out. I don't think we damaged it that much. You can see someone dropped a bomb right down there. I don't know what they were aiming at. There are tracers flying past me. Thought I saw some. Alright, let's make another pass at something. There's that aircraft. We're a little too far out. We're not really stable here, so we're just going to spray in its general direction and climb back up. Alright. That was probably good enough for this mission. Let's start flying our course back to base. Got some aircraft out there. I wonder what those are. I would probably bet that they're enemy fighters, so I'm just gonna call it a day. I don't really want to tangle with enemy fighters in this aircraft. Shit, what was that? Okay, that's a US aircraft, we're good. Playing without the markers on is honestly pretty tough, because you have to really get to know the profiles of these aircraft to identify them. Alright, so now we've got the long flight back home. Well, while we're here, let's do a little bit of experimentation. Oh, we were on auto rich this whole time. We should have been on auto lean to save fuel, but whatever. Let's throw our supercharger up to max speed. It's going to throw our engine into combat mode. If we throw our prop RPM up, that should also help with that. The heck is that? Oh, that's our fuel gauge. So we can use this for up to 15 minutes. We'll just fly straight back to the airfield. We'll see how much speed we can get out of this aircraft. We have a pair of aircraft flying out behind us. They are specs, so you probably can't see them. Is Cleveland one of our guys? Let me see if I can't check. Or no, Cleveland is a call sign, so it's not going to help anyway. Charles Melton. Is he one of ours? Oh, yes. the dash waifu picture. Yep. I love that they let you put those photos on the dash in this game. You just have to edit you have to get a photo cropped just right and then put it in a folder and it works. Yeah, it is pretty good. You can also do custom aircraft skins, and they're not terrible to. They're not like terribly hard to do, but the only problem I've found is that it's really hard to get the reflections set right with it, because everything else is just you've got like a Photoshop or GIMP file that you download and then you edit it in Photoshop or GIMP. And you just have a layer that you paint on, and then all of these other layers are applied on top of yours to provide you with proper weathering and such. But with the... Why do we only have one guy? Where'd the other bozos go? Well, rip them. But you just have to paint one layer pretty much, and then it should work, except I can't get the alpha layer, which is what causes the reflections to work. And you'll see that there's a lot of reflections on this aircraft especially, because it's not, it's the majority of the body on this aircraft just isn't painted, because it saves weight. So it's just bare aluminum. Alright, so where is our... Okay, so we've got a fuel warning level light, and then we've got our fuel. So we've got main and aux. We are down to almost 100 liters, which, yeah, this thing will probably burn through that pretty quick. This is a thirsty engine. It is a honkin' engine. Yeah, that level of customization is really cool. I love throwing the Kotobuki character logos onto my aircraft over place of like the US Star, but I just can't get it to look good enough to do it on this aircraft. Alright, let's get our Supercharger down to something sane, which I guess is like maybe 60%. Get our prop RPM down to something sane as well. This thing actually makes pretty good time without all that extra weight on it. We were getting just shy of 300 miles per hour, which is pretty darn fast. I think for the next mission we'll try to get something that is air combat, just for fun. This thing won't do too great in air combat, but if we can get like a bomber interceptor mission, that would be pretty cool. And I think we can force our mission generator to give us one. Oh god, I scrolled my chat up. Okay, so we're gonna... I think I'm just gonna, instead of coming in for an approach like they're telling me to, I'm just gonna come straight in on this runway. So let's find our airfield. Let's get auto level turned off. Auto level is just a pilot gamer assist thing. Because in real life, you'd have like a map that you'd look down at in your lap. In this, you just have a map that takes up your entire screen. So you can't tell if your aircraft is like suddenly drifting to the side. Where is that runway? Oh, Mr. Airfield, where are you? Oh, we've got 2 aircraft out there. I'm gonna assume that they're friendly. Let's see, we've got that radio compass indicator, so we can just turn until we've got that spot on. And then we should be pointing right at the airfield. That indicator I'm talking about is this one right here. It says Bendex Radio. Yeah, pressing M doesn't work because I don't have the mini-map turned on. Oh, I am blind. There's the runway. Alright, let's start getting ready for landing. Let's get our flaps down. Probably a little too fast for flaps. Let's do some lazy turns. Just drop a bit more speed. And now we can drop our flaps. Alright, flaps are full down. Let's get our gear down. Let's get our pitch trimmed out. Come across the runway and then turn right to bring us back on. Bring the engine speed back up a little bit. Let's get our prop RPM up high so that we can use as much of our throttle as we need to. We got a little bit of turbulence, and I think we got a crosswind here. But I think we're going to be fine on this landing with the amount of crosswind I'm feeling. Drop the throttle a bit more. Starting to come down a bit too quick. Ooh, we bounced because we didn't flare enough. Alright, start using a little bit of brakes. We're just going to pull off the runway to the left here. A little bit more, a little bit more. Alright, we finished the mission. Let me get my chat fixed. Oh, thank you for stopping by and chatting, Yuffie. And thanks for lurking as well. And hello there, Roger that. How are you? Alright, so we killed 2 buildings and 1 AAA gun. We finished our mission. We're going to go back into our campaign generator, which is actually here. Let me bring up the campaign generator on stream. There we go. Mission, combat report. We'll continue with claims. Air-to-air claims, we claim no air-to-air claims. Or claim no air-to-air kills. Complete the debrief. Yeah, anti-aircraft gun was destroyed. We had 1 pilot get killed. I don't know what killed him. Let's go... If we'd seen the debrief, it probably would have told us, but I skipped it. We lost one of our planes. And done. So let's do a mission. Let's try a mission with roll. We're going to say we want a fighter mission. Generate. Scrub mission. We'll try it again. Okay, so we got a patrol mission. Got medium cloud cover. Let's actually get our mission details set up this time. So we've got medium clouds at 1650. Wind is from 312, and it's 5 meters per second, so it's not really all that bad. There's the weather report. Let's go to the map. Okay, so this is probably going to be a pretty long ingress and egress again. Let's go to waypoints. We are flying at 2,000 meters, so we're not really that high up, but we're higher up than we were last time. Go to pilots. Yep, that looks good. I just gotta switch these guys to D22s. And then I'm gonna take the D28. And we'll accept the mission. It's gonna generate for a minute. I'm gonna take a drink while it's doing that. Just generating, generating, generating. All right, it's done. So we're gonna go back to IL-2. Hide this campaign generator. Go back to the campaign generator folder, and then low altitude patrol. The BF-109 on the loading screen. One of these days I do have to play a BF-109 campaign. I had to learn how to fly it because some of my friends who were playing wanted to fly them, and because they're like, oh, BF-109, it's such a cool plane from World War II, and it's actually a pretty good plane, and it's one of the more popular ones to give new players to start with because it handles quite easily, aside from a couple quirks, which is mainly odd stall characteristics. I'm going to drop my conversions back down to 250 meters because that's typically what I like to do for air-to-air combat. And we are going to, oh, let me check the fuel. Fuel's at 61%. Okay, and we'll start. I'm going to stretch. Okay. Confuse my head tracking a little bit, but I think that's fine now.
Cleveland, taking off. Out.
All right, so let's make sure everything is configured how we want it. Let's get the outlet cowl shutters closed because we can't take off with those. And we are on auto rich for mixture, prop RPM set. All right, brakes, and we'll throttle up. We'll release the brakes. You can hear that turbo screaming. Get our nose down. We are at our takeoff speed, so let's rotate.
Cleveland 2, airborne.
Alright. Pull our landing gear up.
Cleveland 3, airborne. This is Flight Cleveland, airborne. Over. Cleveland.
Let's get our engine down into continuous mode.
4, airborne.
Supercharger, set that back down. The supercharger, you know, a lot of this wouldn't really be too much of a pain to manage if it weren't for, if I had a throttle quadrant like what you have here, because you've got, you know, you've got all of your levers you have to change right there at an easy grasp. Let's get our pitch trimmer adjusted. Let's get the auto lean fuel mixture set. We want to climb to, what was it? Oh, it says right on the map, so let's check that. We're going to want to be at about 2,200 meters. Our altimeter is in feet, so we need to be at about 6,500 feet and some change. Got a little bit of turbulence flying today. Sir, why are you outspeeding me? You shouldn't be outspeeding me. You should be flying behind me. Also, why are your outlet cowl shutters open? Those should be closed. Let me just check that we're going the right direction. Yep, we are kind of cutting across our path, but we'll just deal with that. Hopefully, when we're up at 6,500 feet, we'll be above the clouds, because the cloud layer should be at about 1,500 meters. Just keep climbing and climbing. Oh, look at these nerds not having bubble canopies. Ha! Sucks to be them. Bubble canopies are really, really nice just because of the rearward visibility they alone afford. Bank a little bit to the left to bring us onto our track. I'm probably actually going to adjust the course a little bit and try to stay out of these clouds so I can see. Oh, something I forgot to mention a little earlier is that this time I opted to bring the Gyro Gun Sight. We'll give this a shot. I tend to prefer the regular one because it gives you an additional side slip indicator on the gun sight, but this one doesn't have that. So cylinder temperature looks good. Fuel and oil pressure are fine. Carburetor air temperature looks a little high. Do we have an oil temperature gauge? Alright, we can come right a bit. Our altitude is up at about 5,000 feet. Exactly 5,000 feet now. Look at the pretty clouds as we just fly around slowly. We can do a little bit of time acceleration. Oh my god, I can hear. Actually, I messed up my music, I think. Yeah, I scrolled and brought the volume down. There we go. Now we can go back to this. We are, even though we're time accelerating, we got to keep an eye out for potential enemy aircraft. We're probably actually getting to the point where we want to stop time accelerating just to keep awareness. Take another drink of water. All right, yeah, let's bring our time acceleration down. I'm actually gonna go in and this thing is loud as heck, so I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I wish they'd let you turn just the engine noises down, but then I bet most of the multiplayer guys who are really serious about multiplayer would just turn it down to minimum, and then they'd have a little bit of an unfair advantage by being able to hear things. Some writing behind the dashboard here. I'm wondering what the heck it says. Oh, we got something. I think that was a Spitfire. There's something else in front of us, though. I think it is another Spitfire. Alright, our wingmen are still on us. Good, they didn't decide to go chase squirrels without permission. Alright, we're higher up, so we can add some more Supercharger. Watch around for any enemies. I lost sight of that guy, but he was diving last I saw. I come a little bit to the right. I'm going to try to shoot for this gap in the cloud because I really don't like flying blind through clouds. It's just so disorienting that I try to avoid it whenever possible. Flying through the clouds. Take me some screenshots for funsies. A little bit to the left to stay out of this cloud. Oh, we got flak bursts. Is that a friendly or an enemy aircraft then? I think that would be enemy flak. Yeah, that looks like, I think, a P-47. Wait, he's flying straight at us. That is most assuredly hostile then. Let's get our engine into combat mode, auto rich. Which one of these was the bandit? I took my eyes off him for a second and I can't tell. I think that's him who's crashing. What is this? That looks like a BF-1, Focke-Wulf 190, I think. Oh no, is that a Spitfire? Let's add some turbocharger to this. Try to get closer and identify it. That is hostile. Alright, we're clear to engage. Oh! Throw myself into a roll there. Or a stall, rather. Or spin. Stay with this guy. We're gonna overshoot him, so let's try to slow down a bit. Throttle back. Flying the jug. Yeah, the jug, either, depending on who you ask, either called the jug because it's the juggernaut or because it is shaped like a jug. I needed to add more throttle. We're in a turn fight, which is not going to go well for us. But I think this 190 might just, nope, no way we're going to turn with them. We can release a little bit of flaps. You can hear the scream of our turbocharger as I push it to the limit as well. There is, yeah, basically no way we're going to catch this guy through this method. So let's try to cut across his turn signal, or circle. Bleh. Oh, almost stalled. Let's just try to pull, break off. Break off, climb up a little bit. Who is what? Holy shit, that thing's fast. Is that another 190? Yeah, I think it is. We totally got bounced. Or no, that should be it looks like another P-47. Let's try to get up there with them. Check our tail. Yeah, that's got P-47 wing shape. Yep, absolutely. Wait, what the hell was that? That was a Focke-Wulf. Engine oil temp is getting high, so let's get our oil radiator open a little bit more. 190 is turning away from us. Let's try to get on his tail. Where was it? Where did he go? Is that him? Yes, that is. He's gonna let us get right on his tail, isn't he? Oh, maybe not. Not gonna make it so easy. We just need a little bit more lead. Oh, you know, he's diving. Did we set something on fire? Maybe? I don't think so. I think that's just his exhaust. And this thing boasts no performance advantages on a 190 or on 109s for that matter. Try to get a little closer to him. But I think if he decides to just break off, we're not going to be able to do anything about it. Who's that behind me? Oh, that was another 190, but he just broke off. I really missed the P-51 Mustang already. I know that really didn't have performance that could beat a 190, but it was certainly a lot better than this thing.
Cleveland, 3, engaging fighter to the southeast. Range half mile out.
Where did he go? Where did he go? Oh, there he is. He's turned a different direction. We gotta get him within range. We're almost within range. Did we hit him? Yeah, we hit him that time. Is he going down, or is he just doing the typical dive that they do to try to shake me? There he is again. We're not in the same plane of motion, so the gyro sight won't work. Oh, let's try to not stall out. Throttle back up. Let's check our tail before we get blown out of the sky. We're good. He's turning. Let's try to turn with him. This thing feels so slow. I'm gonna have to do a 109 flight stream at some point. God, are the 109s just so fast? As they're just, let's build the lightest thing we can with this engine. It worked out pretty darn well. Nobody coming in on attacks. Good. He's dragging me northeast, like north-northeast. We'll take some long-range shots at him and then probably break off if we can't take him out. I don't want to get dragged too far away from my allies. Yeah, we're gonna just break off now. Let's get our turbocharger down into normal mode. Let's get our prop RPM down into normal mode. And we'll go to auto lean. Let's try to climb and gain some more altitude before we get back into whatever fray is going on here. Got something shooting down something else, so one of those has to be hostile. I can't tell who's who yet. Actually, I think that one that's shooting right now is a 190. So we're going to try to come up on him. Let's get everything back into combat mode. That 190 is making beautiful use of his vertical maneuvering capabilities. Maneuvers that we can't quite make in this aircraft. I do think at some point flying the 109s or the 190s might be a really good for me to learn with, because they are very energy fighter-ish instead of turn fighter-ish. So they would punish me heavily for doing stupid turn fights. Oh, he's coming straight at us, isn't he? We're gonna roll to the right and pull this way. And now I wish I remembered my turn circles and turn fight lesson, but I don't remember that. So we're in a one circle fight. We cannot at all keep up with him in this turn. He is beating us so badly. So we can try to come in for a head-on pass. It's coming up, we're coming down. Maybe we can use a little bit of our energy to break off. But he got right back up. He's got plenty of energy advantage on us. Let's get our supercharger up as much as possible. Oh shit, he's coming right in on us. Let's turn. Oh, there's something else coming in on us. Oh god. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh god. Recover from the spin. Recover from the spin. Oh no, 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 no. Spun way too low to actually recover from that. Oh, this jug is a handful. Just having, just going from that P-51 to this, man, it's definitely a handful. Alright, let's go. We'll just leave that mission as is. Let's just go play around with 109 for a bit. So we'll just drop into quick missions. We can do one-on-one. So yeah, we've got a BF 109 F4, and we're gonna try to fight against a Yak 1, a Yakety Yak. Altitude is 4,000. We'll give. We'll start down at 3,000 with him. Start. We'll pick our loadout because there's a couple loadout thingies we want to do on the 109. All right, BF 109 F4 setup. Let's see. So we are going to pick the armored windscreen, and we're going to remove this headrest because that gives us some more rearward visibility. I'm going to take only about 60% fuel because we don't really need much fuel at all for this. Guns convergence we'll leave as it is. Now this is armed with, what is it? 2 MG-17s and then an MG-151, which is like a 20mm cannon. So it's got a good punch, but it also doesn't really carry all that much ammo for it. This waypoint editing that we can do? No. Okay. And we'll just drop right in and start. And when it pauses, I'll explain a couple things. So that P-47 I was flying, if I wanted to go from cruise engine mode to combat engine mode, I'd have to throttle up, adjust my fuel mixture, adjust my prop RPM, and then adjust my turbocharger setting. So that's a couple things I have to adjust just to get things into combat mode. Meanwhile, I also had to manage the oil radiator, and technically I had to manage the inlet, the engine intake air manifold, or intake radiator thing, because it's an air-cooled radial engine, but that was just left open enough that it didn't really matter. On this 109, if I want to go from, say, regular power to full combat power, I push the throttle forward and I'm in combat mode. So pilot load in the 109 is so much lower. So he's going low, we're going to go high. I'm going to lose tally of him a little bit. Try to keep him in my sight. He's already pretty far away. But we've got like 30 minutes of combat mode, I think. That, or it was 15. He's going to turn into us. Let's turn into him. Let's roll over. Stick with him. I really need to get some way to put up my dials on a screen where I can see them regularly, because being able to keep that side slip indicator would be really nice. Oh, we almost went into a spin. Let's roll over. Where is he? Yeah, so we're just in a turn battle with him, so we're doing pretty poorly. Oh, and he's on our tail, so let's roll over, pull into him. We'll go straight down, try to use vertical maneuvering. Speed is too low. Oh, we're going to stall out. Let's get the nose back down. Where is he? There he is. We're starting to spin, but we stopped it right as it was starting. Ooh, starting to spin again. So the F4 does have a bit of a tendency to enter a spin pretty easily, because it is a very light aircraft with a lot of engine power. So if you're using too much throttle, like if you were, say, at emergency throttle, you can start spinning out, or entering spins very, very easily. Now, I think he has more energy than us right now, because we stalled out a couple times. We are now pretty well on his tail. Let's try to keep on him. The Yak, I believe, is gonna actually turn us. So we have to try to be quick and get some gunshots on him before we start losing this turn fight. I don't know if we hit him. He is going to roll better than us, which is an advantage he has. So when he starts to turn, he's going to be able to enter that turn faster than us. It's also going to let him juke quite well. We are about to overshoot him, so let's... He keeps juking, so he lost a lot of speed, and we got a maneuver kill. Let's try to gain our altitude back before the next guy comes up. I think we'll dogfight with this guy with this one last guy, and then I'll call it a stream, because I was planning to stream for only 2 hours, and we're right about at that. Oh shit! I looked away. Where did that guy go? I saw him above me. I need to adjust my stabilizer trim. Oh, right, I have no rearward visibility in this aircraft. It's so hard to see anything behind you. Oh, there he is. Let's get us back into combat mode. Looks like he's going to have the energy advantage on us. He did start with an energy advantage because he started at 3,000 meters. Where do you go? Well, there he is. He's shooting at us. Oh! I'm throwing my aircraft into a stall. And he's just gonna let us kind of get on his tail, I guess. Alright. That's nice of him. And I proceeded to immediately lose sight of him. Oh, God. Where did he go? There he is. Coming head on to us. Let's Let's do a loop. Yeah, we completely missed him with that burst. Let's see if we can't turn with him. And I lost sight of him because where did he go? Losing sight of your target is kind of why I do want to play more multiplayer. The engine sounds are oddly relaxing. Yuffie said kind of the same thing, that when there's no combat going on, it's kind of putting him to sleep. Where did that yak go? Huh. Oh, oh, oh. There he is. He's a tiny speck. Let's turn into him. We'll see. I have to put my head in all sorts of funny positions to see around this cockpit. This cockpit is really not the best for visibility, but it is also not the worst. Oh, there he is. With this aircraft, you can also really hear the creaking of the airframe. I feel like the devs put a lot of time into some of these aircraft because they're fan favorites. Oh, there he is again. Let's roll over, pull up. We're gonna come head on. The Foley effect stuff, what's the Foley effect? I don't remember that one. Oh yeah, okay, people that add sound, okay. Oh, there he is. I think this guy's got us fairly evenly matched. Oh yes, being fairly evenly matched with a novice AI pilot. Perfect. Beautiful. All of my skill is showing. Let's try to do an Immelman. We are not going to have enough speed for that, are we? Where? And here's... Oh, there he is. He's coming right at us again. Now, if this was a mission, I would just nope out and be like, well, see ya, I can just run away. But I do want to have a conclusion to this dogfight before I end the stream. I should fly something really dumb at some point as well, like the Me-262, the German jet fighter that if you throttle the engines too fast, it just lights on fire. Oh, he's on us already. This guy is good. That just is how the AI be. put our lift vector into lead pursuit, try to catch up to him. We're going to pull to the blackout. And we might actually just be on him. Try to avoid overshooting him. Just try to stay with him. We're in a bit of a rolling fight, which I'm gonna win because I've got more climbing power and more engine power than him. I just gotta make sure I stay with him now that he's turning hard. He had a little bit more energy than me, but I think he's gotten rid of all of that now. Yeah, we got him. Cannons are definitely nice to have. All right, so it is now almost 5. I need to get dinner before I do some stuff later tonight. Tank, thank you for stopping by. Same with Yuffie and Monty and Roger that. If all of you are still here. Today was just an unplanned IL-2 stream because I need something to do to kill time, and I felt like playing some flight sims. Tomorrow I'm going to be playing more IL-2. I'll have to decide if I like the Jug enough to continue that or if I want to try to pick a different aircraft. Most of the aircraft on the poll that I'd put on Twitter were underdog aircraft, the exception being the Spitfire, which is very iconic. So maybe we'll try to learn the Spitfire tomorrow, or we might go back to the P-51. We'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. Oh, thanks again, Yuffie. I'll see you next time. And I am going to just... Oh, I should raid somebody. Let's see who is around and where. Okay, I don't think anybody I know is on, so I'm just going to end stream. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.